Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm Shay Wilson, thinking big, living bigger, and loving the biggest. Good morning, guys. It is happy Monday, the Monday after Thanksgiving. Let me get you hooked up on my other social media platforms. Hold on just a minute. I hope you guys had an amazing weekend, an amazing Thanksgiving. Happy Monday. We're all getting back into it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Today I have an amazing topic about let's talk about isolation and why you may be feeling isolated, why you're in a state of isolation. And we most definitely going to say it is for your elevation and your preparation for your elevation. Let's go with that. Your preparation for your elevation. Let me let you get on. But before we start, we always start with appreciation. I appreciate the beauty of a new day. I appreciate the opportunities that are in this new day. I appreciate and love the fact that we were able to have a bountiful Thanksgiving with family, food, fellowship, and football. I appreciate that. I hope that you had an amazing weekend, an amazing Thanksgiving as well. I appreciate the health of my body, the clarity of my mind. I appreciate these things that we kind of just skip over. I just absolutely want to say I appreciate and love the fact that I can jump on and do this and share with you guys and maybe encourage someone along the way, inspire someone along the way, motivate, support someone along the way, because the journey gets arduous at times. The journey can be challenging, especially when you're in a state of isolation and you don't know why. Maybe it is a breakup that you have kind of moved yourself in, and maybe it is a phase that you just don't feel like you have enough energy to deal with people. Maybe it is a phase of a loss of a loved one, and you just kind of bringing in your energy. Maybe it's a phase of you just kind of don't know how you got in this place of you have friends, you have family around, but you still feel alone. Understand, when you are getting ready to be prepared for elevation, you'll be around people and you'll try to be around people, but it seems like the doors are closed, like you're just still feeling that way. And this is who I'm talking to today, that you're trying to do different things and those doors have been closed and you're almost getting into a state of frustration. And I want to speak some life into you right today, that there are reasons why you're in this place right now, and that if you can just keep your attitude in a place of gratitude, in a place of trusting, in a place of knowing that you and use this time to benefit yourself and others, because you're not just being prepared for elevation for yourself, it is for service of others in many capacities. So you don't have to get wound up with that, but you will understand after this, if you come into it, if you use this time for your benefit. So good morning. If you're out there, say hello. Please like, share, comment. Let me know you're out there, and we will rock this thing today. So here, when I say isolation, it's a state of feeling alone and without people, even though you're in the midst of people. That you're thinking about certain things that kind of on a different level now. You're kind of moving a different way. You're trying to figure out where do you want to go, how do you want to go. And so what happens with us as humans, if we get into a state that we're uncomfortable, we start immediately trying to figure out how to get out of the state, as opposed to embracing it. Like sometimes there's a time where things are just in chaos and we're trying to figure out how to do this, how to do that. And we kind of spread ourselves thin without going to the source of, wait a minute, let me settle down and center down. Many of us are never taught that or never told that, how to do that, how to sit in the midst of it and not do anything, because you don't know what to do just yet. Not to just sit there forever and not do anything, but you don't know what to do and you haven't been inspired to do anything just yet. Okay, so let's talk about it. Why you may be one of the chosen ones. Let me just say that one of the reasons why we go through isolation is that you just may be one of the chosen ones. Here are some of the reasons that we go into states of isolation. And grant you, the state can be lonely. But it most definitely is beneficial. What happens many times is we get in there, we start, we lonely and it is uncomfortable, and we start trying to reach out. We'll get into another relationship. We'll immediately start doing things that are detrimental. We immediately start doing things that don't help us in the midst of it, and not just understanding that you have been put there purposefully. It is not by accident that you are now having to deal with you. You hear me? It's not by accident. And that doesn't mean that you would do anything bad. It means that your mission is more important. And so we need to put you in a place that you have less distractions, right? Anybody hear me on that? You got less distractions. So one of the things in your isolation, even though you're isolated with other people, without anyone around, and again, people are around physically, but you feel like you're isolated, is that you still have a sense of purpose. You still know that there is something that you must do. There's a pulling on you that you know that you have to do, and it's for you to do. You don't know how to get there, but you don't know necessarily what it is, but you have a sense of purpose. Anybody understand? Feel me on that? You have a sense of purpose, even though you kind of like, I wish I had someone here, or you wish that things were different. There's a sense of purpose. You understand there's a purpose for your isolation. Sometimes we are put in states of isolation because you're physically tired and you need rest. Physically and spiritually tired and you need some rest. Anybody understand that one? Sometimes we are so busy doing things that we don't even know how to rest unless we are isolated, so that we can sit within ourselves and get it and rest. In that, though, the mind state is that I should be doing this, and not understanding that part of the isolation is to learn how to love yourself in a different manner. To learn how to, and part of loving ourselves, self-love, is to allow ourselves to rest. Many of us were raised to do everything for everybody and not learn how to do it for ourselves. So the isolation, if you can stay in a positive frame of mind, many times our thoughts get loose and we start thinking that this is a punishment. Your isolation is not a punishment. Your isolation is not a punishment. Understand what I'm saying? Your isolation is not a punishment. I say it for the third time because I want for you to get it in your mind, your body, and your spirit. 3, your isolation is not a punishment unless you decide it is. And then there goes the whole idea. And so, and I'll get to it later, of why we'll continue to stay in isolation when we don't get the revelation in it. Number 2, another reason why isolation is super important, that the divine spirit will isolate us, is that we are too distracted from our purpose. We have been distracted from our purpose. And this is when people say, stay in your own lane. Listen, some of us are mothers. Some of us are just people that we do for everyone else all the time. And we don't realize that is not our purpose. And we understand this because we don't feel fulfilled. We're doing things for people. Then we look and see they're not doing anything for us. We're doing things for a lot of other reasons, and it's away from our purpose. There's always something calling us. There's always something calling, because that's your purpose, was to take care of the kids till they got to 18, 20. You understand? And then they have an autonomy about themselves. You taught them how to be independent and strong and go out in the world. It's not to continue in that place where we are distracted from the things that we need to do, or we're too tired to do the things we need to do at our purpose. Anybody, come on. Anybody, I don't have any response with this right now. Come on. Number 3, one of the other reasons why is to gain new habits. Within the isolation is to see habits that we need to let go of, that no longer serve us, and so that we can gain new habits and practice new habits. So we're isolated for the reason of being able to get new habits. Okay, so because sometimes when we're just in the mode of doing what we do, or we have someone in our lives, or we're doing all these things, we don't even realize the bad habits we've gotten into until we have to stop. until everything's kind of taken away, or everything's in slow-mo. I always call it a slow-mo, like everything's taken away and you really get to see yourself, right? Okay, so the other thing is to set a new frame of reference, to set new points. The fourth thing is to set a new point in life. Like, what do I really want? If you can keep yourself, again, I'm going to continue to say, if you can keep yourself in a positive frame of mind, I'll show you how to, when you're in isolation and you feel loneliness may try to set in on you, is to set new points, new frame of reference. What do I want? Many of us don't know what we want until things are removed. We have been doing everything everybody else wants. And this is what people say, well, I lost myself in a relationship. I lost myself. Now, people lose themselves and their purpose every day, all day, because we're doing so much in other time. We don't spend enough time with ourselves to know, what do I want? And believe that I can have it. That's the other thing. We get depressed when we think, oh, I know what I want, but I don't know how to get it. Okay, so this is why part of the isolation is to reassure our faith life. If you believe that all things are possible, if you believe that everything always works out for you, if you believe, then there's a time that you may have to be isolated so you can really walk that thing out to strengthen your faith. That's the other thing, to strengthen your faith. Isolation is always a time to strengthen your faith. Here's a big one, and I think that many people have struggled with this. You're isolated. Many times you are chosen. You're one of the chosen ones. You're isolated because you don't know the difference. We don't know the difference between love and loneliness. The only way we will know is if we're in a state of isolation to see, am I in love with this person, or I just don't want to be lonely? Am I really, really loving this person, or I just don't want to be lonely? What's the difference? Getting into a relationship because you were lonely, or you getting into a relationship because you love them? Understand that one, because that was big, because I see many people jumping because they cannot be by themselves. They don't know how to just love themselves here in the state of nobody's around. I mean, not literally, just you don't have a partner, you don't have this or what have it. That's you're dealing with things on your own, and you don't know if you're loving someone. You got in a relationship out of loneliness, or did you get into the relationship because you love them? And in the state of isolation, you have to know how to validate yourself without other people validating you. State of isolation will teach you how to love on yourself, to believe in yourself without other people co-signing on it. Because when you are going to be elevated, you're going to need that skill set. I'm going to need that skill set. I will not need to be validated by other people. Come on now. If this is what you, come on with it. This is all the things that I'm giving you reasons why you're in a state of pride. I'm going to give you the three that's going for that. And so the to purify you. And what does that mean? It's to get rid of negative thinking. Sometimes the reason why you're inside of isolation is to get rid of negative thinking about yourself and about life. To get rid of negative thinking, it's how to teach you to stand on your own without feeling like you have to be and people please other people. So there are three big reasons why you may be in isolation right now. One is to prepare you. Two is that the divine spirit wants to increase your capacity. And three, because you are going to be elevated. All right. I saw this teacher this weekend, and I thought it was just fascinating. In your isolation is your elevation. Understand, but you cannot be elevated until you understand the revelation of your isolation. I said, boy, you said that on now. And it's Miss Waki Tancredi. He's on YouTube. You want to check him out. But again, your isolation, you cannot be elevated until you understand the revelation within your isolation. Many of us are isolated. We think it's a punishment. It's not a punishment. Again, three reasons. Now that I just went over the first one, we will continue this the next 2 weeks. Is to prepare you. Your isolation is a time of preparation. Your isolation, yes. Hey, yes, the revelation of your isolation, absolutely. Hey, Natasha, the revelation of your isolation. But you must keep a positive attitude within your isolation. When all things are possible, all things are working for your good. All things are working for your good. All things, even when people are removed from your space. Understand that the isolation is not a punishment. It's not that you've done anything wrong. You are now in a state of purging and purification. You are getting prepared for the next level, and things have to change. Okay, so let's move. So you will need to trust. Your level of trust, your level of focus will have to be honed in. Your level of trust. And how do we do that? It's one of the things I will say when I'm in this state is always, divine spirit, I trust you. God of my understanding, I trust you. I know that there's a reason for this. Show me what you're trying to teach me and guide me. Show me. Because what we tend to do is jump out and start doing things, and without touching base, meditation, stopping prayer, and then getting an inspired action, an inspired impulse, and making sure that's in alignment. That's one of the things that we have to learn how to do. Show me how and what needs to be done, and then taking inspired action. So I just went through the first set, guys. The first thing that's under how to prepare you. You're in isolation because you are being prepared for the next level. Not that you're the next level. Every level will require a new skill set, another skill. And understand every level you go to, the lessons that you've learned from the other ones will be gathered in. Sometimes we have to pause. We have to pause for all the learning, all the lessons, or to catch up and to be poured into. So there it is. That's the first one, guys, to prepare you. You're in isolation to be prepared. Sometimes we're in isolation because we got sick. And so we're like, I've been in the hospital for this amount of time, or I've been at home sick for this amount. Sometimes that's a state of isolation, because that's the only time you will take care or look at yourself. Understand, I see this many times with women. The only time they'll stop, we will stop, is when we're sick. The only time we'll know we need to stop a long time ago, but we only stop when we're just deathly ill, or we hurt ourselves or something, and then we'll stop, and we will allow others to love on us. We will allow ourselves to rest and not go to work. We will allow the other ones to take care of themselves for a minute, so that you can rest. Sometimes that's the only time we will do this. And so I think the divine spirit has very creative ways to get us to stop. I'll just move people away, and we'll do from there, and we'll go from there. So your elevation is a part, preparation is 3. We just went over to prepare you. We have 2 more that we'll go over the next couple of weeks. Your isolation is not a punishment. All right, guys, I hope that encourages you, inspires you. If you're in that state right now, know that you are loved, valued, and appreciated. And it is not something that you need to be afraid of, not something that is going to always be like this. Open your heart and your mind. How do we deal with this in the time of going through this? Make sure you're saying your appreciation, your gratitude, your thankfulness. Make sure you're meditating. Make sure that you are keeping your body strong. Make sure that you're eating healthy, drinking lots of water, read more, and pay attention to your intuition. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's rock this thing. I'm Shay Wilson, thinking big, living bigger, and loving the biggest. Hey, if you want to get a t-shirt, please inbox me. They are $32 plus shipping. Get with me if you want one. They are going out fast. Hey, Rhonda, what's good? Gorgeous, what's good? Make sure that you get with me. Thank you. Make sure that you get with me, and we'll get that done. But this one, this series right here, a lot of people are in isolation, even in the midst of being with family and friends and that. And this is why I'm trying to continue. Hey, no, look, you're welcome. You're welcome. Understand who you are. I need to remind you who you are, even in the midst of it. So be encouraged. Be encouraged. All right, let's rock it. Bye, guys. Have an amazing, amazing week.